Hey everyone, have you ever worked with someone, or perhaps currently working with someone right now? Or maybe you know someone who's just amazingly talented, someone who just absolutely crushing it at his or her job. And this person also makes you feel like you belong on the team. And you feel so comfortable being your authentic self when you're around with this person. At the same time, this person makes your job feel so much more enjoyable. And somehow, this person seems to possess all of the great qualities and attributes of an ideal team player. Now, you may probably wondering, what are those attributes of an ideal team player? Well, wonder no more. Today, we are going to talk about The Ideal Team Player by Patrick Lencioni. In this book, Patrick Lencioni talks about the three virtues of an ideal team player. By understanding these virtues, you can elevate your effectiveness as a team player, as well as enhancing your overall performance and your team's performance. So let's get started. According to Patrick Lencioni, the three virtues that an ideal team member possesses are humble, hungry, and smart. Leaders who can identify, hire, and cultivate employees who are humble, hungry, and smart will have serious advantage over those who cannot, and they're able to build stronger teams in a quicker time and significantly reduce the painful and tangible costs associated with politics, turnover, and morale problems. In this video, we're going to define the three virtues, and we're going to examine the ideal team player categories, and we're going to end up with the self-assessment. The first virtue is humble. It's all about humility. Great team players don't have high ego or concerns about status. They are quick to point out the contributions of others. They don't seek attention. They share credit. They emphasize team over self and define success collectively rather than individually. There are two types of people who lack humility, and they detract the team from optimal performance. They are on opposite ends of the spectrum, and they impact a team differently. The first of which is the overtly arrogant type. These are people who make everything about them. They tend to soak up attention. They are ego-driven and diminish teamwork by fostering resentment, division, and politics. The second is the lack self-confidence type. I call it unconfident. These people are generally generous and positive with others. They tend to discount their own talents and contributions, so others mistakenly see them as humble. But this is not humility. This deflated self-worth often hurts teams by not advocating for their ideas or by failing to call attention to problems that they see. The next one is hungry. Hungry people are always looking for more. They look for more things to do, more things to learn, and more responsibility to take on. Hungry people almost never have to be pushed by their manager to work harder because they are self-motivated and diligent. They are constantly thinking about the next step and the next opportunity. I came across a quote a while back, and I seem to unable to locate the quote, but it says something to this effect. The moment you need to motivate someone, then you've made a wrong hire. While it's good to have hungry people on the team, it's also important to realize that some types of hunger are not good for a team and even unhealthy. In some people, hunger can be directed in a selfish way that is not for the good of the team, but for the individual. And in some people, hunger can be taken to the extreme where work becomes too important, consuming the identity of an employee and dominating their life. And finally, the last virtue is smart. Smart is not only about intellectual capacity in the context of a team. Smart refers to a person's common sense about people and social awareness. Smart people know what is happening in a group situation and how to deal with others in the most effective way. They ask good questions, listen to what others are saying, and they stay engaged in conversations intently. They have good judgment and intuitions around the subtleties of group dynamics and the impact of their words and actions. As a result, they don't say and do things or fail to say or do things without knowing the likely responses of their colleagues. What makes humble, hungry, and smart powerful and unique is not the individual attributes themselves, but rather they required the combination of all three attributes. Even if one is missing in a team member, teamwork becomes significantly more difficult. Those who don't have all three virtues are going to require significantly more time, more attention, and more patience from their managers. Let's look at the different combination categories. The first category is the 0 for 3. People who lack all three qualities or greatly deficient in humility, hungry, and people smarts have little chance of being valuable team members or add meaningful contributions to the team. The next category is 1 for 3. For those who lack two of the three in big ways, it's also going to be difficult to make contributions to a team. Let's look at those who possess only humble. These people are known as the pawns on the team. They are pleasant, kind-hearted, unassuming people who just don't feel a great need to get things done, and they don't have the ability to build effective relationships with colleagues. They often get left out of conversations and activities and have little impact on the performance of a team. Pawns don't make waves, so they can survive for quite a long time on teams that value harmony and don't demand performance. Next, hungry. People who possess hungry only can be thought as of the bulldozers. These people will be determined to get things done, but with a focus on their own interests and with no understanding or concern for how their actions impact others. Bulldozers are quick destroyers of teams. In organizations that place a premium on productions alone, bulldozers can thrive and go uncorrected for long periods of time. Next, smart only. People who possess smart only are the charmers. They can be entertaining and even likable for a while, but have little interest in the long-term and well-being of the teams or their colleagues. Their social skills can sometimes help them survive longer than bulldozers or pawns, but because their contributions are nominal and negligible, they often wear out their welcome quickly. Let's take a look at the next combination category where people possess two of the three virtues. Humble and hungry, but not smart. People who are humble and hungry are the accidental mess makers. They genuinely want to serve the team and are not interested in getting a disproportionate amount of attention and credit. However, their lack of understanding of how their words and actions received by others will lead them to inadvertently create interpersonal problems on the team. While colleagues will respect their work ethic and sincere desire to be helpful, those colleagues can get tired of having to clean up the emotional and interpersonal problems that accidental mess makers so often leave behind. Of the three types that lack just one of these characteristics of an ideal team players, this is the least dangerous to a team, as accidental mess makers have no bad intentions and can usually take corrective feedback in good humor. Next here are the humble and smart, but not adequately hungry. They are known as the lovable slackers. They aren't looking for undeserved attention, and they are adept at working with and caring about colleagues. Unfortunately, they tend to only do as much as they are asked and rarely seek to take on more work or volunteer for extra assignments. Moreover, they have limited passion for the work the team is doing. They are generally charming and positive. They need significant motivation and oversight, making them a drag on the team's performance, more so than the accidental mess makers. Next are the people who are hungry and smart but lack humility. These are the people known as the skillful politicians. These are cleverly ambitious and willing to work extremely hard, but only in as much as it will benefit them personally. Unfortunately, because they are so smart, skillful politicians are very adept at portraying themselves as being humble, making it hard for leaders to identify them and address their destructive behaviors. By the time the leaders see what's going on, the skillful politician may have already created a trail of destruction among their more humble colleagues who have been manipulated and discouraged. They tend to rise in the ranks of the companies where leaders reward individual performance over teamwork. And finally, those who possess all three virtues are considered as ideal team players. They possess adequate measures of humility, hungry, and people smarts. They have little ego when it comes to needing attention or credit for their contributions. Ideal team players work with a sense of energy, passion, and personal responsibility, taking on whatever they possibly can for the good of the team. They say and do the right things to help teammates feel appreciated, understood, and included, even when difficult situations arise that require tough love. Now that we understand the three virtues and the different combination categories of an ideal team player, let's turn our attention to the self-assessment. The self-assessment consists of 18 questions. Each virtue has a total of 6 questions with the possible score of 18. Take a moment here and read through the 6 questions and rate yourself on the scale of 3, 2, and 1. 3 is usually, 2 sometimes, and 1 rarely. Once you complete, add up the total score and do the next thing for hungry and the same thing for smart. You can pause the video and do the assessment. Once you are done with the self-assessment, you can compare your score here. A score of 17 or 18 indicates that the virtue is a potential strength for you. And if you scored between 14 to 16, that means you have a little work around the virtue to become an ideal team player. And with a score of 13 or below, that means that you need some improvement as well to become an ideal team player. Thank you so much for watching this video. I hope the content is helpful. I look forward to sharing another video with you. Until next time, take good care of yourself and people around you.